Hello and welcome to Tuesday's maths lesson with Mrs Deeks. Thank you for all those of you that have sent in your fabulous work from yesterday. It was so lovely to see it all and how well you've been getting on with it. Today we're going to be looking a little bit more at equivalent fractions, and I hope that you've got your fraction rule that you used yesterday to help you with today's work. Today, to be successful, you're going to need to be able to use bar models to show fractions, recognise which is the denominator and the numerator in a fraction, and know that the denominator shows how many equal parts the whole thing has been split into. We'll start today by counting in fractions again. So, who can tell me which fractions that we're going to be counting in? And how do you know? Well, that's right, we're going to be counting in halves today, because each of our whole numbers on our number line has been divided into two equal pieces. So, we're counting in halves. Count with me and make sure that you join in and say the missing numbers on my number line. And for some reason 4 has disappeared, so I'll just write that one in again. It is there underneath. Okay, so counting in halves. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, let's have a look at it again. 0, a half, 1, 1 and a half, 2, 2 and a half, 3, 3 and a half, 4, 4 and a half, 5, and then we can carry on with a half in between each of our numbers. I'm going to pop those back now and see if we can manage to count backwards, which is a little bit more tricky. Count backwards in halves from 5. So join on in with me. So 5, 4 and a half, 4, 3 and a half, 3, 2 and a half, that's right, 2, 1 and a half, 1, a half, or 1/2, 0. Well done, that's a little bit more tricky going backwards, but great job. Now, thinking back about our fractions, we've got to remember our key fraction words. The first one we need to think about is the denominator. The denominator is the number on the bottom of the fraction. As my class say, denominator down. And what does the denominator do? Can you tell me? The denominator tells us how many equal parts the whole thing has been split into. Now, the number on the top is called the numerator. What does the numerator tell us? Well, the numerator tells us the number of parts that we have. So this fraction is showing us that we have 1 out of 2 parts, which would be a half. Now, more fraction words here. Equivalent. Who can remember from yesterday what the word equivalent means? Well, equivalent means equal to or the same as. And we can show that by either using the word equivalent or by using an equal sign. So equivalent means equal to or the same as. Now, for your first task today, you're going to be using some bar models to help find the missing numbers in your calculations. So we're going to start off by looking at this first one. So we've got one whole, so I'm going to shade that in. One whole is equal to, or equivalent to, or the same as how many halves? Our whole thing has been split into 2 equal parts, so that's 1 part, 2 parts. So 1 whole is equivalent to 2 halves. Now let's have a look at the next fraction. We've got 1 whole again, so let's shade in 1 whole on our bar, is equal to or equivalent to how many quarters? Well, if I shade in my bar here that is split into 4 equal parts, we can see that 1 whole one is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4 equal 4 quarters. So today your task is to answer some questions and find the missing numbers by shading in the bar models. Most of you will be able to do the green task, but if you find that too challenging, you have the option to do the yellow task. If you're finding the green task too easy, then have a go at the blue extension task instead. As usual, I've provided an answer sheet for your grown-ups so they can check your answers before you send your work in. Once you've completed task 1, you need to use what you've learnt today to answer some odd one out questions. So have a look at these and see if you can find the answers to those as well. If you can, it's great if you're able to send your work in to us by 3:30 if that's possible at all, and remember that your maths lesson for tomorrow will be available from 5 o'clock today. Also, if you're unsure about anything that we've covered in the video, you can always go back and watch it again. Look forward to seeing all your super work. Take care. See you tomorrow.